really don't know what that was. I don't know. Is love blind? To be honest, I kind of feel like a lot of people in this experiment have found out that love is 20/20 vision, and that's why this season has gone this way. So yeah, my name is Rosenica. I'm going to talk through the standout moments of the Love is Blind finale. This is my casual channel. I'll talk about anything that kind of interests me, which happens to be like Love is Blind or like casual things, and I make personal content. Please watch my Beyonce video I just posted. Nobody's looking at it. But anyways, so let's get into Love is Blind. I talk standout moments as opposed to summarizing the whole entire thing because we all watched the same exact TV show. Anyway, so we start off with Stacy and Izzy's wedding day, and honestly, like, I didn't know how to feel because I don't like Stacy or Izzy, but when it comes to the wedding days, I feel like Netflix just puts these emotional, this puts on like the emotional music, puts on like the setting makes you feel like, oh my god, this has to go well. Like, it has to go well. Like, they're gonna be so good together. Like, you just get in this mindset of, oh my goodness, this is gonna be so great. Especially when it comes to the parents talking to the children. You're like, oh my god. Oh my god, this is crazy. This has to go good for their family's sake. When you're not like, when like previous to this, a couple episodes ago, I was like, yeah, Izzy can rod and so can Stacy, and she's elitist and she's weird and Izzy deserves better. And now I'm like, oh no, Stacy deserves better. Which is like, what? Anyways, so Stacy and Izzy, I wasn't like rooting for them until I like saw them at the wedding. I was like, oh my god. Because the parental moments were so, no, Izzy's parental moment I feel like was very cute. Izzy and Stacy's parents is like, they're this feel kind of stale, feel very much like, I don't know. So Stacy getting ready with the makeup artist or the hairstylist, I forget who, there's two people, and the way that she's describing him is like, Izzy's a chunk of meat. Can you imagine being described as a chunk of meat? Can you imagine somebody on your wedding day, somebody describing you as a chunk of meat? Like, I wonder, does Izzy like that? I just kind of feel like it's a little ugh. And so then we see Izzy being like, Izzy with these food shots too. Netflix really be trying to like nail it in that they actually do eat food, and they really show the abundance of food that they're giving them. I'm pretty sure it's due to the lawsuit, but who knows? It just feels very like overt. Same with like the sex this time around, as same with Ultimatum. It's like, I feel like we're hyping up the wrong things, and more so we're not focusing on things that actually like the audience really wants to see and kind of needs to see. Anyway, so we see Izzy, and Izzy's kind of talking through, like, he brings up money, I feel like, a decent amount in this episode, which is not surprising because a large part of their conflict in their story is based in money conflicts, and Stacy's life is, I feel like, revolves around money, so it's like, of course Izzy's gonna be talking about this, but like, Izzy says something along the line, he says verbatim, love, he like lists out what love is to him. He says, yeah, love has no price tag. Have you asked Stacy that? Because I'm pretty sure for her, love has a fat price tag. I'm pretty sure Stacy's amount of love is like, at minimum, like, I don't even know. Stacy's price tag is pretty high, and like, because her dad said sometimes love needs to eat, sometimes love needs to fly first class. Like, are we kidding? Love for sure has a price tag in comparison. Love for sure has a price tag for them. So you can't say love has no price tag when some people think it does. Absolutely. Okay, so Stacy, we go to Stacy, and she's getting ready, and she's like, I think her sisters or whoever asking her, like, so what are you gonna wear for accessories? And she was like, I think I'm gonna go simple because my dress isn't. Stacy, now you know damn well your dress is incredibly simple. It's incredibly simple. It's the most, if I think of wedding dress, like sweetheart neckline and something that like flows, I think of your dress. I thought that it was so weird that she thinks her dress is like it's beautiful, but it's like, your dress is not I mean, there are some things going on in the bottom, but it's not like a crazy dress. It's not that unique. It's anyway, so like, and then Stacy kind of goes into more like talking about how they're so different. She's like, we're different people. We come from different backgrounds. Yeah, yeah. And then she goes, he's never got a passport. And I feel like I've had these conversations with people who have had money. Like they just subtly list out very like kind of elitist things in very subtle ways. She'll be like, well, he hasn't, yeah, can you believe he hasn't had a passport? Can you believe? My God. And his favorite restaurant is Chipotle. She brings that up. Yeah, and his favorite restaurant is like Chipotle. I was like, so many people's favorite restaurant is Chipotle. Like they're saying it like it's like Arby's or something. Like Chipotle is a good place to eat. I love it. And she's like, well, maybe it's just like guys because they like beef. Because they get their protein. Who cares? Like, and it's not just a guy thing. And then she's like, what? Wouldn't his like favorite restaurant be like I don't know, like something like Peruvian food, or like? And she just keeps going on this tangent that's elitist in my opinion, because it's like, this is a Mexican American person. He doesn't need to try Peruvian food or like other ethnic foods to be like, I just feel like in a way that she's just saying like he's just not cultured, but it's like, this is a Mexican American man who like is trying his best and is like, you know, it just like, I feel like rich people do that very subtly. They really try to like subtly shame people who have not had their experiences and bring it up like it's easy. And then if somebody says like, yeah, I just haven't had the money, I've never been in the spot, they'll just be like, just make some money. Just make some money. Like, are you kidding me? Just make some money, bro. It's not that hard. Like, just get up and work. Seems like nobody wants to work these days. It just feels like that is the energy I'm getting from Stacy, and I really don't like it. That's the part of her I really don't like. And it's not, like I said, it's not overt. It's not in your face. It's very much so like, why is his favorite restaurant Chipotle? Why has he never had a passport? We've been through this. I need to stop getting on these. So she brings up the whole bad credit thing. We know that that's a big deal to her. We know that wouldn't just be like something that would fly over. So Stacy's mom goes, as Stacy's talking, basically says, listen, don't ignore red flags. And that's kind of like, okay, great for you to point that out. But more fairly, she says, but don't blow things out of proportion. And that is the key to balance. Don't ignore it, but don't blow it out of proportion, which is like the balancing act of your life. Is like, how do I as a person who has emotions react to these red flags in a way that's like very reasonable to the both of us? And that's like very hard to do in a relationship. Oh my God. I appreciated that. So then we see Izzy. Izzy has such a good friend, dude. His friend encourages him to write a note. And then the note is just so funny because it's so in the beginning, so high school, middle school coded. I think one of the lines was, Stacy, I want to make my hands your permanent pasties. What? Sorry, what? That's crazy. On your wedding day? But then it goes into more sweet things. But it's like, what are we saying? Karen, why are we trying to say it? It just, they give very like immature at moments. You know, Stacy and Izzy are very much the high school, college couple that has forever kind of been in a little bit of that mindset, which is weird. And then we see also Ishmael. We didn't know that Izzy was short for Ishmael. Why was that never mentioned before? We know that James is Milton, but Ishmael, we've never, it was kind of a shock to be like, Netflix can't just like throw that out there and then just act like we knew it. Anyway, so it's kind of weird like seeing their wedding. Sorry, I'm skipping past a lot of stuff. I want to get through as much as I can. It's weird to see their wedding like whenever they both walk in, because they're both kind of bigger personalities, like extroverted. And Stacey will be like, oh my God, and then like the crowd will just be like really quiet. It's so uncomfortable to see. Yeah, just like, I could not be at that wedding. I would be so uncomfortable. I'd feel so bad for them because I don't know if it's the guests that just are very low energy, or if they are just having so much more energy than they should, like on this very sacred day, you know? Yeah, even Izzy, you know, like showing her off and being like, "Isn't this dress beautiful?" And people are like, eh. Not reacting at all. It's so funny. So, um, yeah. So once the question is asked, "Is love blind?" and we see Izzy saying like, "Yes," and they give these super long answers, and I'm like, "Is this show asking them to do this? Because if not, why are y'all doing this?" My wedding. Also, these weddings do not remind me of my wedding, except for like some specific moments where I'm like, ooh, I either think of them fondly or not. Anyways, I just kind of feel like whenever they were going off on tangents, like, Izzy, you were the first person who's ever made me feel secure. You're my rock, you're my storm, you're my chunk of meat. You are everything to me. Like, I feel weird listening to these because they're like really long speeches, and it's like speech upon speech upon speech. So once we get to Izzy saying I do, then we go to Stacy and she says, I just think we need more time. And that was like the most respectful, mutual, like, no we've ever heard from Love is Blind. Because typically it's a huge dramatic and then the bride like runs off or the groom runs off and it's like, oh my god, how could they do this to me? If they had doubts, they should have told me beforehand. And it's like Stacy just kind of basically lays it out and just is like, listen, we just need time. I can't do this if we don't have like the time. And basically I think is just saying let's just date for now. And I think that maybe she did that because I heard I don't know if this is real or not, but somebody said that if the contestants don't make if the contestants if the what do you call these people if if they don't make it to the wedding, they get like either some huge fine or some huge consequence. Because I mean, like, I guess I could see that being an incentive for the Netflix people, because it's like, okay, we need people to make it to the altar. Like, if people's logical brains and reasonable brains kick in and are like, listen, I can't get married within 2 to 3 weeks, bro. Like, I'm not making it to the altar. It makes sense for the Love is Blind people to be like, no, you're gonna make it to the altar. But it's sad because it's like, ooh, we're kind of forcing people. But it's great that Stacey kind of took it and was like, listen, we just shouldn't do this. Because you would think, why wouldn't you just cancel off the wedding? I think it's because Netflix puts in place that if you don't make it to the altar, there's some sort of consequence that you face once you get engaged. I don't know that for a fact, but it makes sense to me. But yeah, so then also I was thinking, what the heck do the people at the wedding do? What does the officiant do once somebody says no? I don't feel like they've been trained for that. I don't feel like once you're an officiant, you know how to handle that. You're not like, okay, folks, let's wrap it up. Like, you're not really there to say it. And then like the people who are playing music, do they just stop? You know, like, what does anybody what are you supposed to do when the person says no? Like, you just kind of slowly gather up your stuff and go home. that's like that's kind of the only thing that could happen. But I was thinking, because it was a mutual no, were they just gonna like party on? Because I could low-key see that happening for them. I was low-key thinking that. I was like, maybe they're just gonna have like a celebration of like their love. Maybe. But maybe they're not allowed to. I don't know. But it was kind of uncomfortable seeing that like shift of, oh, you're ending on mutual terms. This is weird. I felt that. So Izzy goes and sits down in a little couch in a little like area to have time to himself. And Izzy's mom comes and she's like, listen, I don't want to be negative, but I know that you're hurting. And I really appreciated the things that she had to say to him because they were so incredibly respectful and so just like loving. And I feel like he'll look back on that day and really remember the person who was there for him and didn't bash his bride, didn't like say anything that was destructive, just kind of was like, listen, as a mom, I'm gonna give you these mother feelings and thoughts that I have. And yeah, like, I just thought that was really beautiful. But I feel like after that, Izzy's feelings, he was like lashing out. He was being not nice. At first I was like, these are like fair. Like, it's reasonable for him to be kind of like upset about what's happening and hurt because he's speaking from rejection and not necessarily what's like supposed to happen, which is the redirection of what's going on with him. Bars. Bars. Yuck. Sorry. But yeah, so he's speaking for rejection. He needs to be thinking in terms of redirection. But he's kind of lashing out, especially when he said, "Oh, so was he drunk, dude?" I felt like he like had something to. He either was drunk or he was just. That's just the way he looks like when he's emotional. Is he looks drunk a little bit because he was like, "It makes me wonder why she's 33, single and unmarried." Like, oh my God, she didn't even like hurt your feelings at the altar. She simply said, "We need more time." And I fully agree with that. Like, you cannot go into this experiment, simply get married, and then be fine. Unless you're like Cameron and Lauren, which are the only. Cameron and Lauren, what's his name? Barnett, and what's her name? The other couples I like completely forget. Bliss, not, yeah, Bliss and blah, blah, blah. Bliss and blah, blah. Whatever. You can be successful in this, but if you're having problems the way that Izzy and Stacy are, I don't recommend it. So it's like great that she really leaned into her instincts and was like, listen, I don't care. This is just a wedding. This is just a day. We can have the rest of our lives to do this, but I don't feel good on going on pretty sure was what she said, which was never thought that I would agree with her. I not never thought, but it hurts to agree because it's like you still are shocked by the fact that some people don't have like passports and like people don't live like you. Like anyway. Yeah, so Izzy, I just feel like he's kind of trash because he was speaking from a place of hurt and we recognize that. But it's just the way that he was doing it was like, she didn't even drag you. She was simply speaking from her heart. Like, you're not breaking up. It's just y'all aren't having a wedding. And we get the rejecting these feelings, but it's like, do we need to say that? I don't know. So then we go on to Lydia and Milton. Lydia talks to her friends. And I'm thinking, like, how do her friends feel? Also, I would love to know how her friends feel about the Uche situation, because they were talking about, like, oh, let's call him Voldemort, he who must not be named. And I'm thinking, like, the friends must have all the tea on this. I would love to know what the heck they think. But we got nothing. Also, I feel like I can say with confidence, I think that Lydia looks so much better with her natural hair. Oh my God, I'm just a sucker for natural hair. It looks so good. Versus when she was getting her hair done, I was like, trust the process. Not saying that she looked bad, but she just looks so much better in her most natural state, I feel like, you know? So then we cut to Milton. Milton's like, yeah, I've been up since, I've been up since 7. I got off work at like 2, 8, something crazy in the morning, and then I got back at 7, and here I am. So that's not gonna stop you from having a good day. It's like, you could, I don't know him. I don't know what he can and can't do, but I just feel like for your wedding day, the day before, you should get some accurate sleep. But I also feel like that military background, that we are not in touch with our feelings, doesn't allow people to take time to just like service themselves before like a crazy emotional like day, you know, because I can see him getting burnt out really easily, but then not feeling his burnout because like it's very much like a go like I don't have time for blah blah blah. But like, get some sleep, Milton. Also, when he was saying like, I don't think anybody's like 100% ever, I think people could be 99.9. The little things he says are so funny, dude, in the most subtle ways, because they're just like curious thoughts from his head, but they're so like, I don't even know if I could call them up from a place of like naivete, but it's like, okay, I feel like I think I was, can I even say I was 100% on my wedding day? I was pretty solid on my wedding day. I'd say I was really close to 100%. So I feel like, yeah, you could say 100%. But for this, I don't feel like Milton could, I don't think anybody could say 100%. Because it's like, you still have so much to learn about this person. Anyway, so Milton is looking for something in his backpack. I forgot what. I think like a pencil for writing his vows, which is crazy. And he pours out his backpack, and it's like 80 to 90% just floss. Just comes pouring down on the floor. The dirty floor that he's gonna throw away. Which is like, why do we do the things that we do? I don't know though. Anyway, so we see Lydia Sr. being such a sweetie. And I just really appreciate these mother moments. Well, not mother, but parental moments, because I think also why you root for couples that you don't even necessarily like on wedding days is because you see their whole lives just coming up to this moment in this event. Even the father, even Milton's dad, is like, one piece of advice I want to give you is fight fair. As a married person, I would just like to say thank you for that one, because fighting fair is actually very hard, because you know when you're in the middle of fighting, what do you not want to do? Be fair. Like, because if you're like on the receiving end of kind of being done dirty, like you want to do somebody dirty. And for the first couple of months, me and my husband did not fight fair. So if like, I don't know, if like one of my parents had told me like fight fair or something, they told me like something, or like my premarital counselors had been like, listen, when you're angry, just remember to be fair. It's like hard. Even if they did say that, maybe I wouldn't have like kept it in my mind, in the back of my mind in like crucial moments, but I just appreciated that as a person. I feel like Milton's military background and like them not being in touch with their feelings kind of does happen to help them out in very emotional moments, or like moments that are full of pressure, because they get to be level-headed because they've trained for that. But I kind of feel like his lack of being in touch with his emotions is a weakness when it comes to just like everyday like things, or things that are like high emotional moments where like not everybody's trained to be put under pressure. Anyway, also Milton's mom's dress, dude. I did not expect her to have a killer dress. It was tight. It was royal blue, like electric royal blue. Was looking good. She was looking good. She was like the last person on earth, I would think. I would think she would have like the typical mother of the groom dress, you know. But she was looking good. She was. I have to give it to her. And I was thinking like, you know, producers probably are more emotionally invested in this process and in like Milton and Lydia and Stacy and Izzy than like their families are, because these are people who have like seen them from being introduced to them to now seeing them married. That's crazy. That's a crazy progression, because I heard that when you're on TV, you get like your own specific producer or producers that you talk to like exclusively, so that you can have like that line of communication that like you go from you talking to a producer, the producer goes to talking to blah blah blah, like the team or whatever, the team goes to I don't know. So I can just imagine like the producers are probably very emotionally invested in these people, which I think is really interesting. Also, Milton at the altar being like, should this be buttoned? And he being like, yeah, you should probably do the first one. Milton is very quirky. But also I kind of feel like, and my sister brought this up, maybe he could be, and you like don't really want to throw this out, but it's also like he could be was it neurodivergent in some way, because I really do feel like as much as he is young or whatever, I feel like some of the behaviors that he shows are not like, I don't know, I just feel like some of them are a little bit showing of like other things, but I'm just speculating, I don't know. So, and then also it was so funny when they just kind of finished off saying something, and then it was like assumed to be done, and they skipped the like putting the rings on and the I do, and just go straight for the kiss. And the officiant is like, we haven't even gotten to the ring. We haven't even gotten to the rings, my boy. Like, oh, and he's like, oh my god. And you can tell he's like super embarrassed. It was so cute. It was so cute. So then they get the rings, and they say, you may kiss the bride. It was a very beautiful, wholesome way to end. I know people are saying it was boring, and it was. Like, there were some moments I was like, oh my god. But, I mean, we cannot preoccupy ourselves with, like, your phone or whatever. But I also think that they should have kept a little bit. Why did it have to be an hour, dude? It could have been, like, 45 minutes, I feel. Also, why did they share things with us about the other contestants? I feel like we already knew those things that the other contestants were sharing, you know? I am geeked for the reunion. That's what I'm geeked for, because I want to see everybody on Netflix's messiest season of Love is Blind get together and just go crazy. Like, I'm excited for that. I know people are saying this is the worst season ever. I think it's the I think it's the least. It's a season where you can't really root for everybody, which is hard, but I don't need to root for people to be like entertained. I really don't. I enjoyed this season a lot. I will be recapping the reunion. Hopefully that'll be up the next day or the day after that, maybe like Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever time of day it is for you, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or night.